Hey you guys, this is Frozen Fiction, and today I'm going to be doing a review on The Coldest Girl in Coldtown. I would just like to point out, I picked up this book on a total whim. I saw it in the school library and I was like, you know what, that sounds cool, and I just picked it up, not really looking at it, which was kind of a mistake on my part, because like I read the back and I read the inside pamphlet, and nowhere in there did it mention vampires. So I had no idea this was a vampire book, and literally everyone else knew that. And Abby even said to me, she's like, you didn't know it was a vampire book? And I was sitting there like, I had no idea what was going on the first 20 pages, because I'm like, what? What? So yeah, I'm an idiot. And then I read the summary on the publishing page, and like the first sentence is like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of vampires, and I'm just like, I am an idiot. Like, there's no other way to put it. I'm stupid. So that was a big oops on my part. So a basic outline of this world is pretty much there is a vampire that decided to go around and make a bunch of new vampires, and the disease became known to all of other mankind, and they started making these cold towns where the vampires live and people who are infected by vampire bites live. So when you get bit, it turns you what they call cold. So if you live 88 days without drinking human blood, So if you live 88 days without drinking human blood, the cold just kind of like passes through you, but nobody's ever done that before. And if you drink human blood, you turn into a vampire. So like at this time, like people live with like garlic all over the place and holy symbols all over the place, and places that aren't cold towns to protect them from vampires who haven't been detained to cold towns. And these cold towns are pretty much old cities that have been turned into high security prisons, but nobody really wants to like leave really, and nobody really wants to go in. But of course you have those little groups who want to go in. So like if you turn cold, a lot of people will travel to cold towns in order to protect their families, or you have a lot of bloggers who like really want to see like, ooh, what's it like to be a vampire? Ooh, I want to live forever, and not really thinking about the repercussions. So that's like a constant theme in these books. So the main character is Tana, and she wakes up like the first page of the book in a bathtub after a party, totally like hungover, and she travels downstairs and it's like a massacre happened. Like there's blood everywhere, all of her friends are dead. So she starts checking out all the other rooms, trying to make sure like the vampires who did this are still there. And she finds her ex-boyfriend Aiden chained to a bed, and the windows are covered over with plastic trash bags, and there's this vampire chained up next to him. But like the chains are strong enough that Gabrielle, the vampire chained, can't get to Aiden. And at this point, Aiden has been turned cold. So she saves both Gabrielle, who's the vampire, and her ex-boyfriend from the horde of vamps who decides to come back for them. And they pretty much drive off and go to a cold town. As they escape, Tana got nicked in the back of the knee by one of the vampires, so she's not sure if she's turned cold yet or not. So she pretty much travels with Aiden and Gabrielle to the cold town in order to protect her father and her sister, because when she was little, her mother turned cold and almost killed her. So she's trying to protect her family. And along the way on this trip to the cold town, they run into two siblings who are bloggers, and they call themselves Midnight and Winter. And they catch a ride with them to go in, and Midnight and Winter want to be turned into vampires. They love the idea of eternal life and no longer getting old. Whereas Tana is just kind of like, I don't want to be a vampire, I want nothing to do with this. So you have all those contradicting ideas on like being a vampire, which adds a lot of dynamic to the book. And then Gabriel is pretty much going with them in order to kill his sire Lucien, who is like the face of the vampires. Like he has a TV show where he has all these balls all the time, and he makes it look oh so flamboyant, and it's like a reality TV show about vampires. And then some of the chapters go back into Gabriel's life like centuries ago, so it gives you his backstory and kind of makes you understand why he's hunting down Lucien, which I think definitely adds even more dynamic to his kind of tried to do a love triangle with Tana, Aiden, and Gabriel, but it didn't really work because you could just tell, like, Tana and Aiden just didn't have chemistry anymore. Like, yeah, they were exes, but really they were just good friends. But, like, there's definitely a romance between Gabriel and Tana, and I think that's really cute, even though it's, like, vampire, like, turning vampire, and usually I'm kind of, like, with those. I did like this book. I'd probably give it, like, 4 out of 5 stars. But it, like, ends on a huge cliffhanger, and I was, like, looking into it, like, is there a second one? And Goodreads says no. So, like, it just, like, ends, and, like, it ends as if there's gonna be a second one, and there just isn't one, and I'm kind of like, I want answers, like, what happened? I hope she writes a second one, but the first one was published in 2013, and it's now 2017, and usually when a book's settled, it's usually just a standalone. So that's The Coldest Girl in Coldtown. If you read it before, please comment below. I'd love to talk to you about it. It is about vampires for those of you who are oblivious like me. If you have any questions, please ask. Have a great day, you guys.